Now, folks, the last section in here is the basic construction section. And I will tell you that what you have, let me show you this real quick. I can get to it pretty fast. I'm going to just show you a couple things on this slide, but really the more pertinent information is in your online program. Construction is just like a one, maybe two question kind of section. And so as such, it's not really something that we need to spend a whole lot of time over. So I'm just going to point out the couple pieces of vocab and where to kind of study the basic construction material over the next week, just so you don't get so bogged down on it, because it's not a super consequential topic. Let me get this, let's pull up here. Let me see where this one starts when I look this up. Yeah. Let me just explain this while I get this other one pulled up here, folks. This is something you potentially need to know for the construction section. Obviously, when we're talking about building a home, a ranch-style house is the most expensive to build. Why? Ranches are built out instead of up, and so you need more land, more foundation, more roof. All of the most expensive components of a house. When you're dealing with two-story, you need half the amount of land, half the amount of roof, half the amount of foundation for the same square footage house. So building up is cheaper than, of course, building out. So ranch is the most expensive. Two-story home is the most economical to build. Lower price per square foot in that regard. And so the next thing that I want to show you is in your online program here. So if you look, I've got you a dedicated construction section here. And it's got its own little set of slides here as well that I would argue have more of the testable stuff. So I just want to show you where this is. Let me put it on full screen real quick. Some of the things you definitely need to know, okay, first and foremost, is different types of foundations. I'm going to show you a slide for that in a second. Right here, well, this is the different components of foundation. The different types of foundations that you have, folks: slabs, crawl spaces, basements. Those are the most testable. I'm not going to say there's all, because there's stem walls. So you need to know the different types of foundations. You need to know the components of a foundation. So when we're talking about a foundation, you have these footers that are dug below the frost line with rebar and concrete. You've got the foundation walls built on top of the footers, and the piers. The piers are in the middle. They kind of help distribute the weight across the girders, to help frame out the house. So footers, foundation walls, piers. You need to know that those are all components of a foundation. So let me give you an example of a test question. All of the following are components of a foundation except, and it'll say footers, piers, foundation walls, and eaves, or studs, or something like that. And you're going to have to know that that one is not part of the foundation. So that's definitely something you need to know. Another one is understanding the components of an eave. That is one that's always pretty testable. The eave is the overhang off the roof. And so your components to the eave: the fascia, the soffit, and the frieze board. Yet again, same style of test question. Which of the following is not a component of the eave? Fascia, soffit, frieze board, ridge board. You would have to know that the ridge board is that top connecting piece in the roofing. And then one other thing that's pretty testable is this word sill. Sill is the lowest horizontal wooden component. It's built right on top of the foundation walls and the piers, and that is what the rest of the house is built up on. So sill, lowest horizontal wooden component. The only other thing you could possibly see is some crazy stuff about windows. And I don't remember if it's in here, if it's in the other slides. Let me look real quick. It's not in these, because I just have these main ones in here. If you look here, these slides talk about the components of the foundation, or the different types of foundations. And then the windows. Yeah. I don't think there's anything with windows on my test. I have heard it coming up on the national test. Double hung and horizontal sliding windows, of course, casement, jealousy, hopper, and awning windows. However you want to pronounce that word, I really don't care. That's it. I mean, you have like one construction question on my test. One. It's not a super consequential topic in any way, shape, or form. So go back and look at those slides in the online learning management program. Just make sure you kind of know those basics of the foundations, different types of foundations, basics of the eaves, and know what a sill is. Maybe know a couple names of these windows, and you'll be good to go. That's really it.